This is the end for Rafael Nadal. From his injury timeline to retirement plans and life after tennis, here's what we can expect. Just the other day, we were met with the devastating news that the King of Clay would not be playing at the French Open for the first time since making his debut in 2005. Folks, we are talking about a tournament he has won 14 times in the last 18 years. It could only take an irrepressible Novak Djokovic to defeat him twice and a match for all the ages against Robin Soderling in 2009 to oust him out of the competition, plus the one time he retired due to injury before the third round in 2016. Throughout his career, Nadal has staked his claim as one of the greatest tennis players of all time, and even the greatest according to some critics. But there is more to his withdrawal from the French Open than meets the eye. Rafael Nadal's career has its end in sight, and I'll tell you why. Only a handful of players, if any, have battled with the truckload of injuries that Nadal has had to face throughout his career. According to the Spaniard, he isn't a tennis player who gets injured all the time, rather he is an injured person who happens to play tennis. That's how bad it's been. Even as a teenager, he had to miss the 2003 and 2004 French Opens due to an elbow injury and a stress fracture on his left ankle respectively, and 2 years later, he missed the 2006 Australian Open due to a foot injury. In 2009, he was out of Wimbledon with a knee injury and he missed the 2012 US Open with another knee injury. Nadal missed the 2013 AO due to an illness and the 2014 US Open because of some wrist problems. 2 years later, a wrist injury caused him to retire after the second round of the 2016 French Open, and he subsequently missed Wimbledon that year. Again, the Spaniard missed the 2021 US Open with a left foot injury and tore his abdominal muscle, causing him to retire before the semis at Wimbledon last year. This year, hip injuries hampered his performance at the Australian Open, and he is now set to miss the French Open and most likely the remainder of the year. How many majors has Nadal missed throughout his career due to injuries? Almost a dozen if my math is correct. If you didn't know already, throughout his career, Rafael Nadal battled with a rare chronic foot condition called Mueller-Weiss syndrome. It is a degenerative disease, which leads to a progressive fragmentation and collapse of the navicular bone of his foot. What that simply means is that he constantly feels pain when standing, walking, or running for long. To think that Rafa went through his whole career is mind-boggling. Meanwhile, some detractors thought he was faking the injuries. Diagnosed as a teenager, Nadal avoided surgery until 2021, which is why his Australian Open and French Open wins were super impressive last year. He had to receive a number of numbing injections and anti-inflammatories just to help with the pain en route to his win at Roland Garros. Having gone through such an ordeal, Nadal decided not to have that happen again and is willing to take an extended break just to revive his career for one more year. Nadal is already looking forward to how he can make the most of 2024, and here is what lies ahead. Rafa welcomed his first child, a son whom he named after himself in October last year. Being a father for the first time, it is safe to say that Rafa would be happy to have as much family time as possible. Last year, he admitted that he found it difficult to concentrate on matches at times, knowing that he was away from his son. The truth is that not every tennis player is able to shuffle between tennis and raising kids. Some would rather wait until some point in their career, and for Rafa, his first kid is coming at the end of his career, unlike Federer and Novak. Some fans are relieved that he has taken a step back to focus on his health and family ahead of his last season in 2024, and many believe that he has already done enough for the sport, while others are yearning to see him continue to grace the courts again, like Victoria Azarenka, who did this. The harsh truth is that Rafa's comeback this year is getting awfully similar to Federer's 2022 return. After injury problems handed him his loss at Australia, he withdrew from the Sunshine Double and fell out of the top 10 for the first time since April 2005. For 912 weeks and about 18 years, Rafa was a permanent fixture in the top 10. That's one record I don't see getting surpassed anytime soon. He subsequently missed Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros, the entire clay court season, and is now set to fall outside the top 100 and might eventually become unranked. Now, the problem is that as his ranking slips further, he might very well make a comeback at the end of the day. But by then, the game might have moved on with the new generation completely taking over. What that means is that there is a chance that we might not even get the comeback we were expecting. Although one thing is for sure, Rafa won't be short of wildcards when he needs one, just like Federer and Andy Murray. With Federer gone, Nadal's retirement all but certain, and Novak not his usual self for now, it's almost certain that we are seeing the dying embers of the Big Three era, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be hopeful. One last roll of the dice, one more swing of the racket, and who knows what we might see. But it's not all doom and gloom. On the bright side, Nadal's absence gives mere mortals the chance to win the French Open. So who are you rooting for? Nadal is 37 and his absence from the tour would leave something similar to what we saw when Roger Federer retired last year. Everyone, including his biggest rivals, got so emotional. Novak now feels the same about Rafa after recently admitting that a part of him will leave with Rafa when he eventually retires. The spotlight is now on Nadal, and at this point, is it worth sacrificing his body for? Should he even go through the hassle of training and recovering just to get match fitness? The answer is clear. Rafa wants to retire on his own terms and he won't have it any other way. If you've been following tennis for the last few decades, you would agree with me that Rafa is just about the greatest warrior in tennis. From a long-haired prodigy whose grit matched Roger Federer's flair, to a well-rounded veteran who knows how to conjure wins even when dealing with injuries, Rafael Nadal has done it all in the sport. Along with Novak Djokovic, he still holds the joint record for the most Grand Slam titles in men's tennis, winning 22 titles in 3 fewer finals than Novak. 63 titles on clay, 14 French Open, 12 in Barcelona, 11 in Monte Carlo Masters, 10 Italian Open titles, a record 81 match-winning streak on clay, 92 ATP titles, 209 weeks as world number 1, 1,068 ATP match wins. We could go on and on with the achievements, and for those who think Rafa is only a clay court specialist, remember he still has 6 slams on hard courts and 2 on grass. How many greats have that? Some Rafa fans have even stated that if there were 2 clay slams every year like there are for hard courts, Rafa would have been the undisputed GOAT, but that's talk for another time. Rafa befittingly has a 3-meter steel statue erected in his honor at Roland Garros, and the Barcelona Open Center Court has since been renamed after him, but his legacy has come at a cost. Brutal punishment to his body from head to toe. For 2 decades, the Spaniard has hit every ball with the same intensity and power that makes you wonder just how tough he is mentally. But unfortunately, Rafa's match against time and his body has gone deep into a 5-setter, and it now looks like he's going to lose this one. The cumulative impact of those grueling baseline rallies has now become too much for his body to take. You might be a Federer fanboy or Novak Djokovic faithful, but we can all agree that Rafael Nadal has been an absolute beast throughout his career. You wouldn't see him smash rackets out of anger or throw unnecessary tantrums often. He is made from a different material, which is why his absence from the sport means a lot to many of us. On a lighter note, even outside of the sport, his football skills are admirable, as he often leaves everyone impressed with his fine controls. Nadal is retiring with almost $135 million earned from prize money alone throughout his illustrious career, and he is set to earn more millions even after retirement because he is an astute businessman who has been involved in multiple ventures. Back in 2013, Nadal supposedly renovated 2 luxury hotels on the Mexican island of Cozumel, where he partnered with Wolves manager Julen Lopetegui for the venture. Nadal also owns several hotels and restaurants and many other properties in Mallorca. He even owns 10% of the football club RCD Mallorca. Perhaps one of the Spaniard's biggest partnerships is with football icon Cristiano Ronaldo, with whom he owns Tatel, a restaurant chain with many branches in major cities all over the world. By the way, Nadal can also earn more than €1 million for making appearances at an official event in tennis. And don't even get me started on the numerous sponsorship perfume range and his academy, which has 26 courts and branches all over the world, including Kuwait, Greece, and Mexico. Nothing changes Rafa's legacy, and it's only befitting that he says farewell on his own terms. And when he does, he'll have plenty to look forward to, being a mentor to thousands of people, lucrative business ventures, family and friends, and what else. No need to rush things. Whenever you're ready, Rafa. In his prime, Dominic Thiem was the heir to Rafa's throne on clay. But what really happened to him? Find out in this next video.